This was all right there. I've now interviewed, I've interviewed at least a dozen members of Congress during the insurrection and since. Not one of them sent their staff to the office. One found her will, told her husband where it was the night before the attack. Another wore sneakers. Everybody knew what was going to happen. And we learned from the FBI today that a field office in Norfolk did too. Where do you see the accountability football being handed by an incoming Biden administration? Does it stay at FBI and DOJ? Does he have to anoint a commission? What happens next in your view?
Well, Nicole, I think there's two sides of this. So one is the security side.
Right.
FBI, DOJ, Capitol Police, DC Police, obviously failures in terms of execution and the strategy and tactics around protecting the Capitol. The other side of this is, why did this happen? So Donald Trump today said his speech was appropriate. It was perfect. It was not. I'll come back to that. He wants to isolate this, and I think some of his defenders, to the speech. Donald Trump organized this event. He provided the talking points going back months, saying if he didn't win the election was fraudulent, refusing to commit to a peaceful transition. He told in the first presidential debate the Proud Boys to stand by. And at that Capitol event, the White House event, he told people to march down to the Capitol. So he's going to try and define, even if you just looked at his speech, to me, that's an impeachable defense. This entire thing was months long, planning, organization, providing the fuel. So there's going to be appropriately a lot of attention to what happened here. Could this have been prevented from a security standpoint? But make no mistake, this was a Trump enterprise. From the very beginning, when the notion of January 6th came along, the entire message that the election was going to be stolen if he lost, and then once he lost, that it was stolen, and all of his enablers. Okay, so those are the people, by the way, the Hawleys and the Cruzes and the McCarthys. They knew this could happen, yet they were throwing fuel onto the fire. And as much as there's accountability questions around Trump, and is he going to get impeached and when, we now have more Republicans supporting that, that's great. You see the rest of the Republican Party who enabled him wanting to move on. And that's the last thing we can do.
Well, let me just press you a little bit. What should we do? I mean, I think the idea that they want to move on is laughable. It's almost a confession and an admission of the blood on their own hands. I mean, I want to move on. Let's do unity is what you say when you're Republican and you got zilch, nothing else to say. It's your way of saying, I mean, why would anyone even frankly cover the calls for unity? Why would any Democrat respond to it?
Well, what's interesting about this, Nicole, is you're seeing, back when Trump tried to minimize the COVID crisis, he wasn't able to do that because it was a real thing. OK, so a lot of these Republicans who want to say move on believe this was like an errant tweet, or, Trump said something he shouldn't do. I think every day that's elapsed since the crisis at the Capitol, people are getting more concerned. They're getting more interested in it. There's more video. We have strong suggestions today that there's more to this than any of us even know. And I'm sure we're all imagining the darkest places this could go. So public interest in this is going to be sky high. It's going to remain sky high. And to me, this is the most important thing happening in America today, which is crazy to say, given the COVID crisis, the state of the economy.
No, I
if we don't have
agree.
Full accountability for this, then there's going to be another one. And guess what? The next one will be successful.
Yes. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.